So this is, let's pretend that this is your company that's doing this,
Uh-huh.
throwing packages on the second floor balcony of the recipient.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the New Normal Business Show, presented by SERVIO Technologies, co-presented by Bitstop Network Services Data Center, and MB Tech News. Last week, we gave you a crash course on what online branding is and how you protect it. Today, we will be looking at a case study. Parang thesis, case study na, practical applications of what we discussed last week. So before we get into that, I was looking at YouTube and I saw this video that I would like to show you. It's actually a compilation of videos taken in China. So let's look at this video. 'Okay, so did everyone enjoy that video? That makes me worry because I just ordered something from China through Lazada. But that was taken in China, and in contrast, we have a video that's taken here in the Philippines. So let's look at this video. J&T Express. So we've seen this video, but we know that J&T Express actually went viral 2 weeks ago because of the video. This is a screenshot of a video that went viral 2 weeks ago, and that is the case study that we would be discussing today. So when this video came out, J&T Express immediately got put a post in social media acknowledging, and then they said they will investigate. And then a few days after, there was an ad wherein they're looking for a PR manager. So I don't know if they've already found one, but that is what they're looking for right now. And to make things worse, last week during one of President Duterte's address, he made a threat to them, and he discussed, and because of this, it even made it even more viral. So that's what we are going to talk about today. J&T Express video. And we will be having guests, so maybe let's get right to it. I'd like to call on Joey, our business technology coach, and Wilson, our data analytics wizard. Welcome, Joey. Welcome, Wilson.
Good afternoon. So since our last episode, which was actually part one of this episode, I've been pretty busy. We've been pretty busy because we
Mostly
decided
you.
because we decided we were going to go and seek out some industry luminaries, etong mga gurus of digital marketing, to get their take on this J&T Express case study, which we've been looking at. It's a very interesting situation that we can learn a lot from. And I was very fortunate to have been able to spend some time talking to three industry luminaries from Philippine digital marketing scene. I'll introduce the first one, and you can introduce the next.
All right.
The first one is from Bicol. Apple Allison is a multi-awarded marketing consultant and smile specialist. She has earned her spot in the top 100 most influential global young marketing professionals. She has also several awards, including World's Best Storyteller and International Women's Superachiever for 2019. She is also the founder of YCC Share Responsibly Global Movement. Flair Castro from Cebu. Okay, Flair Castro is a digital marketing consultant, mentor, trainer, and advocate. She aims to deliver focused insights, produce uncompromising results, and provide confident coaching to fellow entrepreneurs, startup founders, and MSMEs. Flair currently serves as a digital marketing consultant, CEO, and managing founder of Third Team Media, a boutique social media and digital agency, and is also involved in several startups, including Project Bass.
Yay!
Sound
Yay!
familiar, Wilson? Sound familiar?
Yeah.
You want to introduce the next one?
Well, I just wanted to add, Flair hails from Cebu and is also one of the trainers for the RIS project for the DICT, Rural Impact Sourcing. So because of her, we have a lot more entrepreneurs that have been trained under her leadership and guidance. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So you do Janet, and I'll just add to your introductions.
Okay, next up, our third and final guest for today is Janet Toral, and she hails from Manila. Janet Toral is an e-commerce advocate, digital influencer, and digital leader. She has been featured as one of the 6 women innovators at the APEC Women and Economy Summit 2011, San Francisco, USA. She has several awards, of course, including being recognized as champion of Philippine Internet and E-commerce Hall of Fame Award given by the Asian Institute of E-commerce back in 2010. Janet is an icon, isn't she?
Yeah. It all started with his digital Filipino blog, where she compiled data about startups and e-commerce activities in the country. And she's also, not a lot of people know this, we jogged together. I trained under her, and she also used to do dragon boat racing. Yeah.
So you're one of her disciples.
Yes, proud disciples. Yeah.
Yes. Maybe we could go ahead and get started with the first one. And so I talked to all 3 of them and asked basically the same question. Okay. The first question that I asked them to address was, what's your reaction to the JNT incident? What would you have done in this situation? Okay. So first, I guess I talked to Apple about it, and here are her insights.
It's very interesting for an independent professional like me. Very interesting siya because one, you have this big company going through this crisis, diba? It's an attack on image, and it's also quite funny the way how they responded to it. Kasi initially nakita ko, may una akong nakitang video na positive manner, yung parang nagdadahan-dahan yung mga staff. Ito po, dahan-dahan na po nilang tinatransfer yung gamit nyo. Pero when I was scrolling pa social media, mas nakita ko yung unang posting nila. They posted parang PR manager hiring, parang urgent. Tapos after a while inedit, urgent, na marami ng exclamation mark. So my first reaction would be to dial the number of my boss, which is the company owner and the logistics manager. I will call all the big shots, the big bosses. And then I'll ask for a video recording, an apology from my top boss. Because the way I do marketing is like that. You have, as the big boss, as the leader, you have to be accountable for what our staff did, right? And then I need to also know from the logistics manager, from the HR as well. Actually, di ba, parang lahat ng mga C-levels from CEO to chief logistics officer, I'll call them everybody. I'll call them. And then have them on video. I think kasi I noticed, di ba, nag-issue sila ng apology through a letter. But for me, the video became viral. And it actually spiraled down to different posts na. So when it's a video material that makes you viral, then address it with a video material. It makes you more human, correct? So I need the top gun, the big boss, to say, I am sorry. We are doing something about this. And this is what we're going to do. So I need a face. I need the human person to address this and not only a piece of paper or an image. And then after a while, ang next mong ipopost sa page nyo is you're going to go after the people who's posting this negative stuff. And in fact, you can be thankful to them because they're addressing a business concern. So that.
Well, very interesting. Wilson, I guess Fleer found that the situation rather funny.
You mean Apple?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Age will do that to you,
yes,
Joey. Age will do that to you.
Too many beautiful women. So yes, Apple's reaction, she found it rather funny, but at the same time, you know, she did have some very good insight in terms of, you know, being able to respond accordingly. And I like what she said about, you know, if you're gonna respond, get the big bosses, get the C-level guys to respond. Don't get some low-level person to respond. And also, if the apology is being made, do it in the same channel or method, not a letter, di ba? Dapat kung video yung
napaka-impersonal.
Ang sagot mo dapat video rin. Tama nga naman. Right?
Okay.
So let's move on to the responses naman coming from Fleer. This time I got that right. Okay. The first
Yes,
was
correct.
Apple, now it's Fleer. Let's take a look at what she had to say about this incident and what she would have done about it.
I was thinking, you know, this is quite an unfortunate incident for J&T. That was the first thing on my mind. I mean, as a digital marketer, they definitely could do something about it, and they have a lot of work to do. That's the first thing on my mind. Like, oh my God, the digital marketing team for this company is really going to be sleepless tonight. So this is firefighting, and this is an online reputation crisis. No, so I mean, if they would hire an agency like ours, or if they would hire me to be their PR manager, or you know, handle their ORM, I think the first thing would come to my mind, especially now in the pandemic, is that I've always been advocating that these days it's always a survival of the thoughtful, and I guess at this point they were not that thoughtful, which resulted into something like this. So businesses that started up with no presence at all on digital, like talagang zero presence on social media, they always get started with producing content, let's say on Facebook. So they start up their Facebook page, they start posting their content, and then they start running ads. Yun yung pinaka-basic, right? But once you get your strategies in place for a whole digital marketing strategy, there's always that part wherein you add an ORM. Okay? So an online reputation management. So you install the tool, you create processes around that, and then you train your staff, because the point there is that you want to know what people are saying about you. So instead of just creating content from internal, eto naman yung part na what are other people content, what are they saying about us? Is it going to be positive? Is it negative? Or meron ba silang mga things that they're saying that we weren't able to capture in our business plan or in our FAQs, diba? So you want to be able to capture that. So an ORM is really more of a parang level 5 na siya in your strategy in creating a digital marketing plan. So it's quite advanced. But at this point, na malaki yung audience mo, something as big as J&T, especially right now, you really need an ORM.
Well, you know, Wilson, bago sa aking term na yun, survival of the thoughtful. I really like that. I really like
me too.
That term. Survival, it's not survival of the fittest. Survival of the thoughtful. And she said talagang mukhang hindi nag-thought masyado, hindi nag-think masyado yung mga GT Express. So I like that. And of course, the concept of online reputation management. That's so important.
So let me tie this back to part one of this episode, where we did suggest that companies, especially the larger ones, must have a crisis management plan in advance, right? So it's very clear to us that the company JNT did not have one. And so they're responding, they're actually reacting to the sequence of events. So they are not able to get their own narrative, but instead allow other people's narrative to be dictated upon them.
So let's move on to, shall we say, the most seasoned guest for today.
Yeah.
Been around for a long time. Let's see what Janet has to say about this particular issue.
Cue video.
Watching the news when this incident came up and got reported, no, and of course, like many, parang maraming shock, no, to see that all the packages ay nasa sahig lang siya, and then people were throwing it. And pero kung tutusin, di ba, kung bumabiyahe ka rin sa mga airports at nakikita mo sa probinsya kung paano nila hinahagis yung baggage mo papunta doon sa loob ng eroplano, parang kahit paano, a part of me parang okay, siguro talagang ganun talaga yung paghahagis ng gamit, no? Kapos meron nakalagay na fragile doon sa iba at iba yung paglalagay nila doon, yun yung kino-conveyor nila. Pero yung page ngayon ng JNT, parang hindi na siya different sa mga telco. Kasi di ba sa telco, pag pinalo mo yung mga pages ng mga telco, mag-post sila ng PR, tapos lahat ng comments dun sa PR post nila, kahit na good news yung binabalita nila, puro complain dun sa service, no? So meron tayong nakikitang mixture ng complaint, tapos meron mixture ng praises, meron tayong mga nakikitang loyalty messaging din. From a point of view of branding, I think meron din akong isang nakita ron na kapag talaga may mga customer segments ka na talaga nasa-satisfy mo sila, they will stand by you. Kaya meron tayong nakikitang customer segment na sobrang very supportive sila, very understanding sila, very kind sila. Siguro nga, nandun din kasi yung sensitivity na we're in trying times. And meron din naman na parang ang feeling nila siguro, dapat ba talagang i-fire sila? Baka naman dapat i-train muna sila or i-suspend muna sila, tapos i-train na lang ulit. Kasi hindi natin alam kung ano yung situation. Kasi di ba, most people are walking to get to their place of work. So, hindi natin alam kung nakakabiyahe ba na maayos yung mga trabahador nila, at kaya siguro ganun na lang yung, alam mo, yung energy, yung motivation. So, there are so many psychological factors also in play na kailangan din natin na maging equally understanding about it. And it's good to see people who understand. And it's good to see people being constructive by giving suggestions, by giving feedback. Suggestion na, di ba, they were in one of the interviews, they were also suggesting na parang it's an organized incident, na parang may nag-organize na gawin yon at kunan. Medyo, of course, di naman natin i-dismiss yung possibility na pwedeng mangyari yon, pero parang hindi siya ganun ka solid na story, di ba? Saka syempre nandun din yung security, may management. So, at I think ang pinaka-interesting sa akin dito, yung how it reached the office of the president. To the point si President Duterte nag-call ng investigation about it, no? Kaya biruin mo, papuntahin sa iyo ang CIDG, NBI, tapos papuntahin sa iyo ang BI.
Wow, I really think that of the three I interviewed, Janet had the most empathy or sympathy for the JNT Express people. Maybe it comes from her many years of dealing with crises like this, but also having been on that side of the fence. It struck me the most about her, especially her concern for the people in the video, the actual workers. And maybe that is really a symptom or evidence that there's something very wrong within the organization or the culture that would allow people to behave in that manner. So,
Right.
Yun ang kakaiba talaga ni Janet.
Right. And being line managers ourselves, it's the system. Whenever you see people doing something suboptimal is the system that forced them to behave that way. And it comes as a surprise because when we looked up JNT Express, this is apparently an Indonesian company that won the Top Brand Award in 2018 and is valued at over 543 million as of 2017. So why would a large multinational company behave this way? So there's a disconnect. And Janet also used to handle political campaigns. So she's used to to organize attempts at discrediting people or companies as well. And so that's where she's coming from.
Okay. Let's move on to our next question, Wilson,
Right.
so we can get some more
juicy details.
Juicy details and insights from these gurus. So the next question I asked them was, what should be done? So this is obviously a time of crisis for JNT Express. So if you put yourself in their shoes, I asked them, what should be done in a time of online brand crisis, like what is happening, what has happened and is still happening with JNT Express? What should be done?
So the scenario here, to put in context, is let's say the company JNT hired them to handle their PR crisis. What should they be doing? Right, roll video.
First, Apple.
It's funny that they see it as a PR crisis only, when in fact, from my marketing perspective, it goes deeper. It's not only the image that needs to be addressed, but it's actually the whole operations, the whole system, the way they do business, and HR as well. So my first thought process, and even kumbaga, ang una kong gagawin, 5 W's, 5 Y's. I'm going to call the people involved, yung mga, mga macho guapito nating tinatapon yung mga gamit, but not to reprimand them. I'll just have to clear with this. Not to reprimand them, but rather to empathize to them and ask them, why do you throw this? When they answer, why, di ba? Parang, so I'll go to the root cause using the 5 Y's. Kasi definitely, I think na-raise na to dati sa management, pero pwedeng na-ignore lang. So they just look at it on a marketing perspective, when in fact this is a total business, HR, and logistics.
In our studio audience. So Wilson, what do you think about what Apple said there about the 5 Y's?
Well, I totally agree. It should not really be treated by JNT as merely a PR crisis. It's an operations crisis. Something is wrong with their operation. They need to optimize that.
I'd like to leave this 5. Kung kanina may 5 W's, now I'm leaving you with 5 A's in order for you to do your online reputation management and, in a way, customer service, right? I want, hopefully, the business leaders to first acknowledge the mistake, acknowledge the concern, acknowledge the problem, and second, take action. Talk to the consumer and talk to your internal employees, customers as well. And also apologize, not just through text or post, but through a video. Make it more human. And affirm the action that you're going to do moving forward. And last but not the least, which is more very important, create the alley, diba? So create the alley from your community and also from your internal customers or your employees as well. So Jos Mabalos, thank you for listening.
So there you go. There's 5 A's from Apple, and I found that to be very, very insightful. You know, acknowledge, take action, apologize, affirm, and then create the alley. So we're running a bit long now, Wilson. So I think we should move on to Fleur's
Go ahead.
Answer to
Cue
this.
video.
So,
I think the first things that I would do is implement the ABC. So the A is acknowledge the mistakes done, no? Show remorse, show to the crowd or to your audience where you went wrong, Diba? So I think I've seen a lot of interviews from either their managers or their employees. They were given a lot of interviews recently, and I've seen some of those videos. But then when you look at the videos, it seems like I'm not saying na ano ha, ito yung talagang ginagawa nila, but they seem to be not remorseful at all of the situation. So parang what they're doing is definitely they're covering up a whole incident, and then they're showing videos na okay, we're doing something about this. This has been investigated. Just to assure, I guess, the public that's what they're doing. But really, the A there is to acknowledge na meron talagang nangyari. There was a mistake done. So the first thing you should do is acknowledge it. Say sorry. So post probably a video from your highest up, like your manager, saying na, okay, we saw the video, we're truly sorry, this is what happened, and then this is what we're going to do. Diba? So that's the A. The first step talaga is to acknowledge. And then B, be sincere. Firefighting that they're doing online, it doesn't seem sincere at all. Parang they're covering up that incident with a lot of positives. Of course, that's the first thing you would do. But then you would feel no sincerity at all. I mean, I'm being honest here. I saw their videos. And then we would want, as customers, we would want that kind of sincerity put into what they are producing online right now. So be sincere. The C there is to closely monitor the situation, whether it could be from the supporters or from the dissenters. Kasi sabi nga nila, someone who's trying to sabotage their reputation. Whether it could be from supporters or dissenters, like I said, diba? Like acknowledge the mistake, be sincere, but also closely monitor, because from what people will say online, this is how you're going to respond. Dapat real-time yung responses ng brand. That's why you have to closely monitor. I think your brand should stand for something. Kasi if you will look at the audiences right now, especially the Filipinos who are online, we want to be able to support a brand. We want to be able to support a person, especially if they reflect the same values that we have. Diba? So it's like virtue signaling. Kung yung brand mo, it doesn't represent something, they could put a lot of stories around you and then you couldn't do anything about it. One is they should probably have an ORM. No, it's an online reputation management. So try to monitor the sentiments that they have, your customers have, or your enemies have on your competitors have online. Try to monitor that and then see if most of it are going to be negative or positive, because from there you would know kung ano yung possible na maging problema at possible na maging concerns mo in the future. So instead of hiring at the last minute a PR manager, you could have monitored it in the first place. So that's the second. And then the third one, of course, like any business, have a crisis plan in place. Point is, you don't want to arrive at that situation, but if you do, you should probably have a plan already. Not at the last minute na nag-hire kayo ng PR manager. So monitor it and then have a plan ready in case something like this happens to you. And then the last thing that I can add in for businesses is build your tribe before you need them. Build your tribe before you need them. So that in case something like this happens, meron ka ng supporters, di ba? Meron ka ng community of people who actually believe in you, believe in your values, believe in what you stand for. And when something like this happens, you can rally them up and then tell them, help us. We're under fire. I know we've done something good for you. So I guess this is the time where you help us out, di ba? So build your tribe even before.
Wow, grabe. Ang dami ko natutunan doon, Wilson. First of all, the ABC of online brand crisis. Your brand should stand for something. Tapos, yung online reputation strategy, o ORM strategy, and having a crisis plan. And that last one, my gosh, build your tribe before you need them.
Yeah.
Okay ba? Jeez.
Flary is a professional and her insights reveal as much. Yan.
So
So should
your vibe attracts your tribe. This is your poster.
Yeah. So like I filched this from Awakening People. Like, um, sometimes, when a company defends itself, the value of that is less than when their customers defend their company, right?
Tama,
So
tama.
if you attract the right kind of tribe to come to your aid, their word of mouth has more weight, lends more weight to the ongoing discussion to maintain your online reputation. So, right, build your
Tama.
army.
Agreed, agreed. So let's see what Janet has to say about this particular question. Cue Janet.
Pero kung bukod doon sa tracker, pwede ka magtanong. At saka gaya no, may nakita tayo sa news, nag-complain siya, dumating yung tablet niya, basag na yung screen. So, ang tingin ko dapat na inano doon is dapat dinate na nila kailan nangyari yung incident. Hindi kasi nila sinabi kung kailan talaga nangyari yung incident. They could have said na this incident happened ng ganito. Ito yung mga packages that it covered. We're ensuring our customers na kung yung mga complaints, we're now also gathering the complaints that we have received during this period for these packages, and we will be processing them accordingly. So parang
And that kind of shows that they're being proactive, kumbaga. They're doing above and beyond what's expected.
Kasi ngayon para may standard lang, we're investigating, pero 1 week na eh. Pero kung sinabi nila na okay, we have an update, itong incident na to nangyari sa ganitong location, ganitong time, it covered orders from these areas. We already have listed na it affect that van has, let's say, 500 orders. So we're now running through all the orders received at that time, and we noted also that from that batch there were 5.
What would you do about the situation, Wilson?
So I would say, like, our apologies, but you have filled our crew practicing this technique so that we can deliver even when people are not at home. We can throw it to the second floor balconies. And even better, what you just saw is for the benefit and the sake of our country. What you just saw is actually our taran cue. It's our team that's preparing for the next Olympics. Package a discus throwing team.
So you can transform your business model from a logistics and delivery company to an Olympic training company.
You just saw our training team in action, right?
Okay. So let me do my wrap up. The COVID-19 pandemic has forced many businesses to close down. Most of these bankruptcies were of traditional physical businesses, while most of the survivors are of the more modern digital businesses. The digital maturity model is both a framework and a roadmap for digital transformation that was developed for growing businesses. We developed DMM based on our observations of and working experiences with hundreds of SME owners and managers who attempted to implement technology solutions into their businesses. Most of those attempts ended up in failure. Now, SERVIO Technologies utilizes DMM in developing affordable technology solutions and tools that have accelerated the digital transformation of many Filipino companies. We predict that any SME that does not have a digitally enabled workforce will be extinct by 2021. Don't be extinct. Survive and grow by learning how to become a digital native at businesstechnologycoach.com. Remember, we are happy to serve you at businesstechnologycoach.com. Thank you very much. And that, Wilson, is a wrap.
Episode 9. Yeah.